Hey guys, good morning. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. It's great to be with you. Well, it's been a whirlwind this week with lots of stuff happening, and the concert that just happened not too long. The convention that happened with Jag. So was really very grateful to be able to present and speak and give an AI presentation. So really grateful for that. Welcome. Today is May 16, 2025, and it is a Friday. It's the third Friday of May, and welcome everyone to the show. The granular topic, in case you're wondering, well, I should say the master topic first for the week, understanding personal evolution, which is the key to success. Um, Today's granular topic is growth often starts with discomfort. Series 4, Show 20, Episode 7. And you've heard me say that before, guys. You had to practice getting comfortable being uncomfortable. Well, it really is the truth. All right. Well, welcome everyone to another empowering episode of Inspirations for Your Life, where transformation just begins with one bold step, learning and leaning into discomfort. If you're hungry, why not go out to the kitchen, get yourself something hot, something cold? Maybe it's a drink, maybe it's a snack, maybe it's something healthy or not. I don't care. Just go ahead and grab that and come on back to the show so we can kick this great show off that we have today. Do check out believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, of course, inspiring creations. And you can do that 24 hours a day. So I am your host. I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, not only a podcast host, but also a podcast coach. And it is more than my privilege and pleasure to be with you here on the Inspirations for Your Life show. So great to have everyone here on Friday. All right. So, this show is going to be pretty amazing, and I'm going to be guiding you to unlocking your fullest potential. Now, today, I'm going to dive into something that touches every human's journey at one point in their life: the uneasy, the awkward, and sometimes painful places where real growth is born. Whether you're a leader trying to push past a plateau, a creator breaking new ground, or someone navigating change, this episode will hopefully resonate deeply with you. So, buckle up, everyone, because the breakthroughs begin where the comfort ends. As they say when you get on the roller coaster, right? Buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy, fast ride. All right, everyone. So, growth is a journey that often begins not with clarity or motivation, but with uncertainty and discomfort as well. It's easy to think we need perfect conditions, okay, to improve our lives. But the truth is, most growth starts when you're stretched, challenged, or even afraid. In this episode, I'm going to explore 10 powerful truths. That's right, 10 of them. Powerful truths. And they're going to be about discomfort and how it acts as the launch pad to meaningful growth in your life. Each of these insights will help you reframe your perspective, stay grounded, and understand what's going on, even in tough times, and turn those obstacles into stepping stones. If you're ready to transform discomfort into fuel for your life's next level, well, this one's for you. So buckle up, everyone. We're going to get going on this roller coaster. Well, number one is discomfort is the starting point of growth. See, discomfort is often misunderstood as a signal to stop, but in reality, it's the very beginning of change. Think of it as your body's internal stretch alert telling you that you're moving, okay, beyond the familiar. The moment you feel uncomfortable is the moment you've stepped into a new realm of possibility. Whether it's the nerves before a presentation or the uneasiness of starting something new, this friction is your initiation into the growth phase. Well, you have to welcome it because it means you're evolving. And I think a lot of people don't understand that growth is something that starts slow and it is not always comfortable, guys. It is uncomfortable. Okay. I didn't say painful, I just said it's uncomfortable. So growth happens outside your comfort zone. Number two, your comfort zone is like a warm, cuddly blanket, but nothing new ever happens and transforms there. When you step outside of it, you face uncertainty, but also infinite possibilities. Growth isn't born in routines that require no effort. It emerges when you're faced with new situations, hard choices, and unfamiliar paths. If you want a life that's rich with progress, you'll need to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Number three, guys, resistance builds resilience. Very similar to the way muscles in our minds and hearts grow stronger through resistance. See, challenges are not there to stop you, they're the gym equipment for your soul. When life throws roadblocks your way, the process of pushing through builds mental and emotional endurance. Over time, you begin to bounce back faster, think sharper, and trust your ability to overcome even more difficult challenges ahead. Number four, temporary discomfort leads to lasting change. Most discomfort is temporary, but the lessons you learn from it are permanent. That uncomfortable job or interview or relationship or the tough workout, the vulnerable conversation you had, all of them contribute to this plethora of growth that will stick with you your whole life. If you can tolerate the short term sting of discomfort, right, you'll open the door to long term transformations. It's a small price to pay for meaningful progress, but then why is it people don't want to do it? Is it the discomfort? Is it the pain? I think it's a matter of both. Okay. I think it's a matter of both. And I feel that most people don't realize the fact that they need to be changing who they are in their life. I think that's a very, very important thing. All right. Something very, very important. It's temporary, it's not permanent. All right. So, moving on to number five, fear often signals progress. Okay. Fear isn't always a warning, it can be a guidepost. When you feel fear around doing something new, it usually means you're moving in the direction of growth. It's not a stop signal, it's a green light to a path you've never walked before. The butterflies in your stomach, that's just your spirit realizing you're about to become someone stronger. Number six, stretching leads to strength. Every time you stretch, whether it's physically, whether it's mentally or emotionally, you create micro tears in your limitations. And just like in fitness, it's those micro tears that build strength over time. When you stretch yourself past what feels easy or natural, you lay the foundation for a stronger, more capable version of yourself. Don't fear the stretch, it's where the greatness begins. Now, a stretch is not meant to be painful, but it is meant to be a little bit discomforting sometimes. And so when we understand that discomfort is part of the process, well, then we're able to not only embrace it, but we're able to learn and grow from it. So I think that's a really important thing for everyone here to acknowledge. Number seven, discomfort challenges your mindset every day. The moments that make you uncomfortable are often the ones that force you to confront limiting beliefs. Discomfort can shake up the stories you've been telling yourself about what you can do, who you are, or what's even possible for you. It's in this friction that new mindsets are formed and new levels of awareness emerge. Use discomfort as a mirror, okay? It reflects your next upgrade, right? And I know that sounds like something that's really scary for people, all right? But the truth of the matter is, it's not as scary as you think. And I think if we can approach things like this, then life can change where we're going. And maybe that's something that you're scared of. And I get it. I really do get it. But you have to realize that it's something you have to understand. Okay. And maybe that's not something that you're ready for. But the question is, are you ever ready for change? No. So, of course, it's going to be uncomfortable. Your body's going to fight that, right? I think all the time. Number eight, change begins where comfort ends. See, change doesn't knock politely, it usually barges in after comfort leaves the room. If everything feels predictable and easy, you're likely not growing. The first sign that you're truly evolving is a sense of unfamiliarity. It might feel like chaos at first, but it actually is the system rebooting and getting its bearings. Growth doesn't ask for your permission. It starts the moment you are brave enough to say yes to the unknown. Number nine, growth demands uncertainty. There's no blueprint, folks, out there in this world or any others that is going to be there to help you with personal evolution. Just not there. Growth demands that you walk in the shoes, in the situation, without any guarantees or clear outcomes. See, that uncertainty is uncomfortable, yes, but it's also where creativity, innovation, and breakthroughs live. Embrace the unknown as your partner, not your enemy, because it's within uncertainty that your greatest transformation awaits. Now, I know that sounds like something that's going to scare like a lot of you. But the truth of the matter is, it's not as bad as it seems it is. All right. It's about you getting your bearings. It's about you maybe being a little uncomfortable, but then you can move forward from that. Number 10, embrace discomfort as a guide. See, what if discomfort isn't something to be feared, but followed? Consider it a compass pointing you toward the experience that will shape you most. When something feels scary but exciting, unfamiliar but necessary, that's the path that you need to explore. Let discomfort guide you. It often knows the way to the version of you waiting on the other side. And I think a lot of people that I talk to get very fearful from change. And the reason is there's some stress with change. And it's because they're trying to do everything perfectly. But that's not the key, guys. The key is knowing that you're on a journey, an amazing journey, if you just open up and understand. Now, what I want to do is to give you some of my own personal lesson stories, if you will, uh, for basically each point. All right. And it's my hope that by doing this, again, it will solidify what these things mean. Because I know that a lot of times people are saying, John, I just don't have a clue. Well, no one said you had to have a clue overnight, right? But I think we just need to be willing. We need to be open. We need to be someone that's curious, someone that sees adventure as a curiosity, not as a stress. Try that. Try approaching life when you have these fears, change it to being excited and watch how that really shapes your life. I think that's something that a lot of people maybe don't do. And you can put yourself in that mind, and guess what? Your body is going to perform a lot better for you because it's not in a fight or flight mechanism. You've changed the perception. Well, number one is discomfort is the starting point of growth. I remember the first time I spoke in front of a large audience. Now, this wasn't like a couple hundred people, this was several thousand people. It was a local event, and my palms were a little bit moist, to say the least. And my voice cracked just before the opening, luckily, before I started speaking. But I pushed through that raw discomfort. It was truly a catalytic moment. Afterwards, several attendees approached me to say how much the words resonated with them, like I was talking to them directly. That day, I realized the discomfort wasn't there to stop me. It was there to propel me forward and introduce me to the next version of myself. You see, if we don't keep changing, we're either going to stay stagnant or we're going to go backwards. So I think that's a real important one. Number two, growth happens outside your comfort zone. When I started my first company over 31, 32 years ago, I had no roadmap, just a vision and an unwavering belief. Every decision felt like walking on a tightrope over uncertainty. I had to learn finances, managing people, handling crises and clients. And I had no prior experience in any of it other than working for my parents in their businesses, but it was different because it was retail. But my staying outside the comfort zone, I was able to change and uncover strengths I never knew that I had. Looking back, the leap into the unknown was best because it was a decision I didn't know was going to be so great, but it was one of the best ones that I ever made. Number three, guys, resistance builds resilience. That's one I think that gets a lot of people interested. You know what I'm saying? Um, I think when people understand what that means, right? Pretty amazing. I think sometimes we get wrapped up. Okay. And so this is going to bring me to my next point, and that's resistance builds resilience. Years ago, I had lost a major client that accounted for a significant part of my business revenue. This client was with us, was probably after we were in business, maybe about 10 years. And they were with us for maybe a good 10. And they left us. Was it price? No. Was it an ego? Yes. I lost this major client that accounted for, I guess, a significant portion of my business's income. It was a tough blow. I questioned everything we were doing, but instead of folding, I retooled my services, diversified my client base, and built stronger systems that resistance taught me how to adapt. In a sense, I pivoted and never from that point on relied on just one source of security for income. It hurt at first, but it made me unshakable. And even though this point was so personal and felt like it was an attack on me, it just taught me one of the most priceless business lessons I could have never learned from any school or any book. Number four, guys, temporary discomfort leads to lasting change. So nobody likes pain. Nobody likes discomfort. Okay. Um, because it's not fun. All right. It's not fun. And so when I committed to a 5 a.m. morning routine, it was brutal at first. I fought the urge to hit the snooze every single day, but slowly those early mornings became my power hours, filled with reading, journaling, and planning. That short term discomfort built the habits that now anchor my days and feed my long term productivity. It proved to me that pain is temporary. The discomfort, I should say, it wasn't pain, it was discomfort. But the payoff, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to celebrate years later. Now, I'm not telling you that it's going to be easy. Don't misunderstand me. I'm telling you that if you have the willingness and you have the drive and that passion and you're going to do it from integrity, guess what? You're going to grow. You're going to grow. That's the key, guys. That is the key. Number five, fear often signals progress. The first time I launched a podcast, I was terrified, not by getting on the air, but by what the audience was going to be like. Worried about being judged, making mistakes, or not being good enough. But that fear slowly subsided. And then I started to realize how much I had a life loving for podcasts and productions. It meant I was onto something meaningful. Episode by episode, the fear faded and confidence took its place gradually. Now I use fear as a signpost. If I'm scared, usually means I'm leveling up or getting ready to. Number six, guys, stretching leads to strength. Stretching leads to strength. That's a very powerful one. A few years ago, I took on a consulting project that was a little bit outside of my typical wheelhouse. I doubted myself daily, but I kept showing up, learning, asking questions, and stretching into the role. By the end, not only had I delivered great results, I had built a whole new skill set. The process didn't just stretch me, it strengthened me in ways I didn't expect. Number seven, Discomfort challenges your mindset. And you wouldn't think it does, but it really does. It challenges your mindset and it gets you to think about life in a different way. Like I told you, think about your fear as curiosity, right? That's pretty neat. It's something that I think a lot of people don't get. Um, I think most people don't understand that when the road gets a little bit uncomfortable or tough, it's not the time to turn around. It's actually the time to keep moving forward because the road's going to get easier the more you continue to drive or follow its path. So, number seven is discomfort challenges your mindset. I once believed I had to have everything figured out before launching a new idea. That perfectionism kept me stuck. It wasn't until I released a project, messy, unfinished, and raw, that I realized action trumps overthinking. Done is better than perfect. You can always retweak something. The discomfort of putting myself out there shattered my old belief that things had to be perfect. Now I act, then adapt. And with that mindset, it's opened up so many new doors to me. People are like, John, how can you do that? It's not ready. I said, well, nothing was ever ready, right? You have to keep retooling. I think that's important to understand. I think if we understand that, our life can get a little bit easier, right? A little bit easier. Number eight, guys, change begins where comfort ends. That sounds very scary. I know. But it's the truth, folks. It is the truth. Okay. And I think that's important. And I think that's hard for some people to understand. Okay. I think the more that we embrace change, I think we're going to be okay. But I don't want you to think that change happens like in a flash. It happens because of who we are. Does that make sense, everyone? Because of who we are. And if we truly come to terms with that, we can make some amazing changes. I had gotten too comfortable in a business dealing that wasn't aligned with my values. Walking away was one of the hardest things I have ever done. It disrupted everything. But the bold move made space for something better soon after I created a new venture with people who inspired me. The change felt chaotic, but it birthed the more authentic version of my work and myself. So let me tell you about it without giving you the company's name. It was probably over 20, 25 years ago, and it was in the point of sale market for the restaurant industry. And we had looked at different systems they were going to resell. We had done the New York Restaurant Show, and we even had done a couple installations. But we just didn't feel like it was going as far as we wanted to. So we reached out and we found another partner that manufactures software, one that was actually in another country. Still US, though. I mean, they spoke English. But the thing about it was everything seemed very great. We signed the non disclosure, we did everything. But they did something that I didn't like. So we were getting support issues where before we went out to this meeting and the contract was signed, but they couldn't explain to us what was going on until we met. So we had issues with clients where their data, for whatever reason, was not, how can I say, it was not syncing. All the registers were not syncing together so they could get their true totals for the night. And this wasn't the first time this happened. It seemed to happen every year. And I tied something to this. They hadn't renewed their support contract. Interesting. And I made a comment about this because it was happening with a few clients. I said, it's funny that this seems to happen on only the clients that haven't renewed yet. They said, well, that's just kind of how it goes. So when I got out to the convention with them, it was a private meeting, really, a convention, just us and basically their executive team. We'd execute the contract. They explained to me over dinner, well, John, we couldn't really share the truth with you until now. So what do you mean the truth? Well, we do that to protect ourselves. Do what? Well, you remember when you called us and the numbers weren't adding up? I said, yeah, I remember exactly. It frustrated us. Yeah, and we really couldn't help you much with why it was happening. We fixed it, but did you notice it kept happening? I said, yeah, I did notice that. And I noticed that it didn't get resolved until they renewed. Exactly. So that's kind of our thing. If somebody doesn't pay, we kind of make it that the system isn't able to sync all the registers so that we can't get the totals. You can push your menus out, no problem, but you cannot get your exact totals, your sales. I said, well, that's kind of wrong. They said, well, John, that's just how it works. I mean, that's just the industry. And after that, I decided we don't want to work with them anymore. That was what happened. So we walked away. We later decided that the POS market wasn't for us. There were a lot of, let's say, shady characters in there. And then we had a restaurant that magically burnt down. And we said, we just don't want to deal with this anymore. Resistance builds resilience. Years ago, as I said to you, I lost a major client that accounted for a significant part of our business revenue. It was a tough blow, and I questioned everything, as I told you. But it made us stronger, right? Number 8, change begins where comfort ends. Just remember that. And growth demands uncertainty. Expect it. Don't be surprised by it. Embrace discomfort as a guide, and it will take you some amazing places. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. Please be sure to check out BelieveMeAchieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. Have yourself a great rest of your day. Be well, everyone.